Hi. So we have a lot of stuff coming up for Macchiato, with a K here. I feel like every time this name is getting translated, it has a new weird way to, um, a new way to write it down. I've seen Macchiato with C and Q. Here it's a K. I feel like the K is less painful than the C and Q, but it's only something because I assume she's named. She's supposed to be named after. I assume this is after the coffee, right? A macchiato, right? Anywho, I'm just complaining. Anywho, we have a lot of information coming up. We have the PV, we have the preview kit, we have the weapon, we have a lot of stuff. So we're gonna go over everything really quickly. Quickly is a big word, but anywho, let's check the PV first and foremost because I'm very very excited for her. I love her design, and she seemed to be very strong. So that's a double whammy for the kitty. Yeah, she's on the opposite side. Oh! Boom, headshots! Boom, headshots! Oh, she's getting them all. Absolute mental defense. The sniper is so chunky. Look at that! Look at this chunky boy! Man, she's badass. Ah, and she finishes with a cup of coffee. Holy! Literally, it is quite holy. As in, it has a hole in it. Oh, of course she has the tsundere voice. She's a tsundere, by the way. Like 100%. So cute! Also, like, her weapon case, it kind of just looks like a violin case, to be honest. I don't know, the shape of it is a bit special. But yeah, I think she looks awesome. Man, what a cutie pie. What an absolute cutie pie. Love her. Absolutely love her. So, now we also know what her banner is going to be. The banner is dropping on the 26th, which is basically in a week. It's going to be lasting until the half of January, right? Now, obviously, her drop rate is higher. And we are also going to be getting the welfare unit, Krolik and Sharkry on the same banner. Now, unfortunately, Sharkry and Krolik, they don't really have any kind of synergy with Makiatto herself. Now, that said, they're both DPSs, so that's a nice way to get some of them. Also, Krolik and Sharkry are both fire or burn DPS, so definitely that going on for you guys. Sharkry is very, very strong, actually. I think she's quite powerful. She has some self-buff. She works well with other fire units, too. Krolik, while she's on paper not the best unit in the game at all, she still has some usage. At the end of the day, this is a game that is about team composition rather than like taking a character in a vacuum. But overall, unfortunately, she still pales in comparison to other DPSs. That is the reality. But don't feel like you absolutely need to get the best on paper. You can make do. The game is not hard enough that you can't use any character. So, moving on from that, this is overall an okay banner. I'm actually kind of excited for this one because I do want to get Macchiato, and getting some copy for Sharkry is kind of nice. I think I have her V2, I believe. So I'll be able to get more copies for her, which is very exciting stuff. Macchiato, personally, I think she's going to be awesome, especially if you did pull for Surumi. They're going to work very, very well together. And Macchiato herself is kind of a... We're going to go over her kit afterward, because she's essentially... I kind of went over her kit in the previous video, but we're going to go over it again very quickly to kind of do a short, concise resume of what she does, essentially. And the thing with her is that she's actually kind of a defensive DPS. The reason why is that she has her ultimate, which is absolute mental defense. She gains Frost Barrier, which is the same kind of barrier that Tsuomi has. That means that she gets a strong shield. If it's broken, the enemy is frozen, which is incredibly powerful. Frozen means that the enemy can't move and can't act. And she gets Alert. Alert is if an enemy is doing something around you in your range, which is 9 tiles, because she's a sniper user, she's going to be shooting at them. Which is incredibly powerful. I do believe that her shot is actually a preventive shot, which means that you can even kill your enemies before they actually start their action, which is incredibly powerful. Now, this alert, I think, is activated if an enemy does a basic attack or a skill. I don't think it works if they move, though, so gotta keep that in mind. But either way, it's an insane range that's gonna be very powerful. I don't know how many times she can actually shoot with that alert, or if it's just a duration thing. I'm pretty sure it's probably... I think it lasts 2 turns, but I don't know if there's a cap on the amount of time she can shoot. Now, that being said, as her ultimate, she has some great stuff. Professional Tactics is a deal physical damage to the enemy. This scales better than the basic attack. Basic attack is 80% physical damage. This ability is 100% physical damage on paper, unless things have changed. And then she gains a lot of Confectus Index points. As far as I know, she gets 4 points. Her ultimate, I think, doesn't cost any, but it's going to be very useful for a core precision shot, because core precision shot is mostly what you're going to be using a lot to deal a crap ton of damage outside of that alert. You also gain Standard Approach, which I think buff your defense against range damage, amongst other things. And then the core of her ability is going to be Core Precision Shot. This deals freeze damage. You have an increased critical damage on this attack, and you gain 1 star for Core Conviction for each instance of damage dealt. The thing is that at V0, I believe Core Precision Shot only deals 1 attack, but if you get a duplicate for her, she will actually deal multiple attacks, which now makes sense with the amount of stack that she can get from Core Conviction, which is pretty good. So she has a lot of ways, as you can see, to buff herself, deal some good alert damage outside of her turn, and then Core Precision Shot is going to be absolutely powerful. This is going to be a powerhouse of a character. On top of that, as long as Macchiato HP is exceed 80%, she's getting some additional buff like Insight to increase her range, Steady Progress and stuff like that, which is going to increase her amount of crit that she has. She gains a buff to crit rate. I think she gets 30% crit rates at the cost of like 10% of crit damage, which is a very powerful... it's a very strong trade-off. And then if she attacks an enemy that is either frozen or frigid, she will ignore an amount of stability index that the enemy have and increase her own damage, which is insane. Now she can get a bunch of keys. Obviously, as per always, you can get 3 fixed keys and 1 common key. So here, when the active skill Core Precision Shot results in a kill, you gain 1 Confectus Index, so that's a nice refund. Ice with Milk Foam will allow you to essentially use a lot of your skill right off the bat, because that gives you 3 points of Confectus Index at the start of battle. Indomitable Lone Wolf. After using the active skill Professional Tactics, if there are no other allies unit within 3 tiles, get 1 stack of Lone Wolf. This is a nice buff if you're making sure that you position yourself away from your team, but is that really necessary? I'm not sure. Time for a break. When using Lone Wolf, Territory, Core Precision Shot, or Professional Tactics over a freestyle, cleanses or freeze debuff himself and gain 3 tiles of additional movement. Essentially, this gives her some ways to deal with freeze buff by making sure that you use that terrain to your advantage. Heated Caramel, at the start of the battle, applies Murderous Intent to the enemy unit with the highest HP. I think it's like a mark on the enemy that makes you hit stronger against them, which can be kind of nice. I feel like this is going to be pretty good, especially if you're fighting like big bosses. Finally, Absolute Concentration. Increase attack by 10% at the start of the battle. The effect lasts until HP drops below 100% for the first time. So if you're playing with a character like Tsuomi that's going to give her some shield, you have a good chance to actually keep this the entire fight, which is insane, especially because she's a sniper. And she has a passive that makes it so she takes... she has that skill, that buff. She's going to lower the amount of damage she can take from enemy range attacks. So she has some good ways to mitigate range damage that she's going to suffer. So potentially this could be just a flat 10% increased her damage. Absolutely awesome. Now here as a common key, so this can be anything. She has 3 slots like every single characters. They're showing at the start of the action if own HP is greater than 80%, reduce ability damage taken from attack by 2 points. This is fine. I'm sure there's going to be some good keys to put in here, maybe just some Creed stuff that you might want. But overall, a good kit, and I think she's definitely a very, very strong must pull, in my opinion, if you want a very powerful DPS, and if you have Suomi, they're going to pair up beautifully together. So there you go, I think she's awesome. Now for her weapon, she has the Art of Eradication. Essentially, she increases the freeze damage dealt by 10%, and for every 4 instances of damage dealt outside of the user's turn, increase damage dealt by the next active attack by 10%. So essentially, because she has the alert, she's able to hit enemies outside of her turn. So that's tailor-made for her because she will be able to hit enemies, and every time she hits an enemy, she will get a 10% buff for the next active attack, which means that she can get a 40% damage buff on her call shot, which will make her core precision shot, which will make her absolutely bonkers. So both her and her weapon are gonna be incredibly powerful. I don't think you absolutely need the weapon. Characters are gonna be fine without it. But still fantastic, right? So yeah, there we go. Now, we also have like a description, I'm not going to go over it. In a trade, increase damage dealt to power this unit by 2.5. The target is inflicted with frozen is boosted by additional 2.5%. So this is going to be against certain type of enemies, the same way that we had stronger damage on Suomi's weapon when fighting the thermal station thingy. Not really something that you want to like focus on that much, but it is a little additional stuff. So there we go for all the information. I think overall this banner is pretty good. Makiatto and Sharkry I think are going to be great. I'm very excited to get some duplicate for Sharkry. Krolik, don't really care. Her kit looks amazing. Her weapon also looks pretty amazing. I've been saving a lot, so I might try to actually get Macchiato, a duplicate of her, and then her weapon if I can. We'll see exactly how this ends up. We don't know yet if we're actually going to get a second banner. It has not been announced yet, but I assume we might get some information. If we don't get anything today or tomorrow, we can probably imagine that there's nothing happening. So I'll keep you in touch if we do get another banner drop. And yeah, on top of that, just a quick reminder, starting from tomorrow, we're getting a limited time double resources event here, which will allow us to get a lot of, you know, just level up material. The neural survey is very, very useful because it costs a crap ton of them to actually just unlock your neural link thingy. I don't know how to call it, the neural helix, I think. Now, they didn't add the text anywhere, but this is limited, okay? You can only do it 3 times per day for the neural survey, and the supply mission, I believe, is 5 times per day. This is big props to Seiya, who dropped this information. This is something that's been seen previously on the CN servers. I think here they just didn't put the small text here for this, but expect that. So this is going to be a great way to get all the, you know, materials you need quickly. So there you go. Anywho, that's going to be it for this one. Oh, on the last little note, if you're thinking about what is better between a duplicate for Macchiato or a duplicate for Suomi, I think it really depends. If you want more survivability, more healing, the duplicate for Suomi is going to be very powerful. Now, if you want your DPS to be absolutely bonkers, I think duplicate for Macchiato is going to be better. Both is also great if you have the resources for, but you can always wait for a Suomi rerun or Macchiato rerun. So there you go. Personally, I would like at least make sure that I have like just one of each, and then I'll be good from there, and maybe I'll consider get some duplicates. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anywho, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye bye.